Since long, humans have been trying to appease themselves with the fact that they can think creatively and machines can't. But I believe that machines have started thinking creatively, and over the period of time, we are going to have machines which can think much more creatively than what humans can. Remember, we have a very long evolutionary history of over 1 million years as compared to cognitive machines, which came just around 50-60 years back. So I have Closerscopy for review, and I just want to test whether Closerscopy can also help us writing a fiction. So those of you who are already deeply involved in writing, marketing or content development, you must be already knowing what is Closerscopy. And for those who are new to it, so it's basically an artificial intelligence engine which can help you in writing of many sorts. So for instance, you can write content for your blog or for your website. And Closerscopy has also added one more engine, which is Story AI. Using that, you can also write the stories or creative writing, like say novel or fiction. But the point is how good it is in writing stories or creating a novel or fiction. So let's create a document, a random document, and test Closerscopy for the random fiction. In fact, I do not have any story in my mind, so I will just start impromptu once we are up to the interface of Closerscopy. So if you are writing, you need to just create one new document, maybe your chapter for the book. So click on new document, give it any name. I'm going to simply call it demo fiction because it's just a demo. I do not have any clear cut long story in my mind. So click save and open your document. So you get a very nice interface which gives you almost all the options, highlight, bold, italics, etc. that you require most often while writing. So we are for writing a fiction, and in case if you open Closerscopy and Story AI is not selected or Story engine is not selected, just click on the link on left bottom corner and you can select any of the three engines, either Sales AI, Blog AI or Story AI. So Sales AI is basically for those who want to write sales pitch or sales email or funnel emails. So believe me, it writes better email as compared to what humans can write. So you may try sometime. Blog AI is again very powerful and very accurate if you are writing blogs. So for instance, suppose you are writing blogs on health or writing blogs on management or any other topic. So you can create blog posts using Blog AI, and it's a very accurate. In fact, I find it very accurate as compared to competitive AI engines which are available in the market. So let's test the Story AI, and in case it is not selected for you, just select the story.ai by clicking on use Story AI. Now if you are writing a creative work or any work, you first need to tell a bit your machine that what exactly you are up to. In data science parlance, they call it training the engine. So you need to give some input so that machine can capture what exactly you are thinking, in which direction you are thinking, so that it can generate content accordingly. So suppose I'm writing a fiction or a story about a student who is living a hostel life, and he is dreaming big and he is just preparing himself for something big. So that's the short story I have in my mind. So scenario is like, say it's a very early in the morning, and when most of other individuals are sleeping, so he wakes up and he's looking toward the day and how exactly he's going to prepare himself. So let me begin writing something, giving some input to the machine. So I have just written 2 lines. It's 3 a.m. Nikhil, I just consider that Nikhil would be protagonist of this story. He wakes up at 3 a.m. but he feels that he is already late and by this time he must be in the playground. Seems very extreme, but let's believe that stories like this. So let me write few more lines because you need to write few 2 3 lines, 4 lines, so that machine gets enough content to realize that this is the structure of the story or this could be the logical direction for the story. So I also have Grammarly installed in my computer, so I'm getting suggestions for some corrections. So depending upon your computer, if you get such suggestions, just include them. So currently I'm not checking from my side whether sentences are grammatically correct or whether they are very logical. So I'm just working on the first draft of the story, which immediately came to my mind. So no prior plan. So I think this much is good enough to give a hint to the story AI engine that it is a story about a guy Nikhil and he is up to something motivational. So now to expand this story, you need not write everything manually. You can select the text that you have written and click here on the long form and copy and paste this brief. It is basically a hint for software. So just copy it and paste it here in the brief. So it will act as a hint for the software. So depending upon what exactly you are looking for expansion, are you looking for a bullet list or some drawback, conclusion, introduction, etc. So I would like to select a neutral paragraph and see how software takes ahead the story. So click on paragraph. So it will take some time to generate multiple suggestions for you. And depending upon what you like, you can pick one suggestion, use that in your story and edit if required. Right, so we have gotten few suggestions. You can see here. So this is one piece of suggestion, 166 words, second 40 words, and then 30 words, and then so on. So let's read and just make sense that which one fits better to what we are thinking, what you are thinking as an author. So you can pick that part of the story, paste it here, and progress on writing the further parts of story. So he decided to go out for a run. He had been training for almost 1 month now. He needed to get some fresh air, etc. So makes good sense. But let me look at some other chunks. So Nikhil opens his window and glances at the old tree in front of balcony. He wonders what will happen if the tree falls on his house. No, that's not really purpose of my story. So it doesn't matches because tree acts as a guide for Nikhil. So that's what I am thinking as an author. So he's not afraid of tree falling on his house. Nikhil takes out his mobile, dials a number. No, that's not I would want my protagonist to do first thing in the morning. So go to next. The next thing to do is to get ready for the morning. The first thing you should do is to put a pair of sweat pants. So that is not very meaningful for me. So let me move to the next part. Nikhil thought about the tree and wondered how it survived through the winter. The tree was bare of leaves for months, but somehow it managed to stay alive. It must have been the strength of its roots that kept it alive. Nikhil knew that if he wanted to achieve his goal, he had to be prepared for the challenges that would come in his way. He would have to work hard and never say no to try. I think this fits much to what I have currently in my mind, because for me, for this character, the tree in front of his balcony acts as a source of guide and motivation. So I can pick this paragraph, paste it here, and tentatively build my story in this way. So maybe let me add one more paragraph. So I feel one paragraph is fine. So let's try to add one more paragraph based on what we have achieved so far. So now I want to give some twist to this story. After getting initial motivation from the barren tree, so let me introduce one more character. So suppose Nikhil is going to have a meeting with this character, and he is looking to strike a deal with the new character. Let's call him Subodh, right? So Subodh is going to be the another character, and I'm going to weave the story, at least first 3-4 paras, surrounding these two characters, Nikhil and Subodh, and then what was deal all about. So let me add few lines and then see how exactly the story AI takes a new turn. So now I feel I have added enough twist to this story. So in 2 lines, I have added a new character, Subodh, a new plot like say business deal, and then winning some key partners, then 5 a.m. timing. So these are the additional pieces of information that this story AI has to decipher and give me suggestion to progress the plot. So again, I would select long form and then paragraph. You may select more lines, and apart from these 2 lines you can select earlier lines as well, but you cannot select a very long paragraph because there's a limit to the number of characters you can select. Let me check what it is. So let me select everything and click on paragraph. So at max you can select 100 words, not more than that, right? So let me select only these 2 lines or 2 more lines of the previous paragraph, so that there is a connection between previous paragraph and the coming paragraph. So click on paragraph and wait for suggestions. Right, so we have gotten few suggestions. So let's check which one is right for us. Nikhil felt tired after a long day at office. No, wrong. So he hasn't been to office yet. Nikhil got up from his bed, went to the training ground to start his workout. He started running on the treadmill. Not very good. So he quickly closed his eyes and started doing some breathing exercise. He knew that he had to get up at 3 a.m. so that he could be on time for meeting. Also know that he needed to stay focused, that he had to be prepared for no. Now this is Nikhil felt confident that he could win over the board members. That is why he decided to go to the meeting training ground early. He was going to work hard and never say no to try. No, but that's very much similar to our previous selection. So Nikhil decided to work hard and win the keyboard members to his side. He needed to work hard because he knew that Subodh was a tough competitor and might not take it easy on him. He also needed to be prepared for the challenges that would come in his way, such as the competition. He would have to work hard and never say no to try. So I will select only this much, would leave the last line and paste here. So of course this is not your final draft. It would require some editing, but you can see how fast we have progressed on 2 paragraphs. So I personally feel, compared to the price that you pay for using AI engines for creative writing, story or fiction writing, or even blog or other types of content writing, it does very well, right? So I will give a thumbs up to Closerscopy, and I feel that all the 3 engines that it provides work great, either sales or blog or story AI. You can write good number of posts, good number of blogs, or good number of chapters each day. If you are finding it difficult to have good assistant for writing, but keep in mind the important thing is that you must always recognize your artificial intelligence assistant. So this work of fiction is contributed by Closerscopy AI story AI engine with my assistant. So maybe I am acting as an assistant to AI in this demo example. So that's why I personally feel, since machines have recently started evolving in the cognitive direction, though they have a long genesis, but as compared to our evolutionary history, which goes behind millions of years, machines have started developing AI engines, etc. recently. And if in 30-40 years, 50 years we have progressed this much, so I believe in coming 40-50 years, machines will definitely outwit humans even in the creative thinking or creative writing like work of fiction.